I would just like you guys to know that it is about 20 degrees in my room and I'm still wearing this sweater because I gotta represent my university. Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a video that I've been wanting to do for a little while. I'm going to be doing some tips for post-secondary students. So I am going into my second year of university starting next week. I go to McMaster University and I am majoring in mental health and illness. So I have obviously dealt with some of the struggles of being a first year post-secondary student, and I just thought I'd make some tips for people who are going into university, people who are going into college, people who are planning on going to university or college in the next couple of years. Things that like you probably know, but I just thought that I would give you some tips. So I also asked some people on Instagram what they thought. So the first thing that I wrote down is something pretty simple, something that you should know, but something that I see all the time that people don't do, and that's simply just going to class. The lectures are there for a reason, the professors are there for a reason, but I see time and time again of kids not going to class and saying that they haven't been to class all semester. And I understand that a lot of classes, especially in my university, post the slides and post everything that you need online so that you don't have to come to class. And if there are classes like that, absolutely fucking you do you, boo, and don't go to class. But there are a lot of classes that you have to go to class for, specific things that are in class that aren't on the tests, as well as going to class. Number two, do your fucking readings. Each class in my experience has a textbook or readings, newspaper articles, something that we have to do each week, and I'm somebody who doesn't do them, and I really fucking should be doing my readings because there are a lot of tests that I have failed because I haven't done my readings and specific questions were based off the readings. So if you have time, even skimming through them, it helps, trust me. As long as you have a gist and an understanding of the main concept, then I can promise you, or I can almost guarantee that you will do better than you would have if you didn't do the readings. Number two, buy your fucking textbooks, okay? Textbooks are so important. This ties into the readings. They're so important. They have so much information that maybe the teacher explained but you don't understand, so you can go through the textbook and read more in depth on what that topic is. You can look up the glossary in the back and understand like what the words mean, what they're talking about in class, just like getting a more in-depth understanding of what the topic was being talked about in class is very important, and this will all be in the textbook. Number three, simple, something that a lot of people don't do and something that I am guilty of, and it's interacting with people. Join some clubs if you have time. Join some clubs, talk to people, sit next to people in classes. Just like try to find, in my opinion, it was nice to have at least one person I could speak to each class so I didn't feel so alone. I have mental illness, and sitting in a classroom all alone is very depressing to me. I'm a very social person, and having or going places alone depresses me a lot, and it gives me a lot of anxiety. So having somebody there each class did give me some self-confidence of like going to class, listening. It actually helped me focus more. So overall, meet people, don't be scared to talk to people. They're all in the same boat as you, and I'm sure they'll be willing to speak to you just as much as you're willing to speak to them. So yeah. Number four, balance your social and your school. It's definitely, for me, like I said, I'm a very, very, very social person, and focusing all of my time and efforts on school and having no social interaction, no, that's depressing. That's absolutely impossible for me. It's very unrealistic to ask somebody to not hang out with friends, to not go out on the weekends, to not party, to not drink, to not do drugs, to not blah, 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 blah. It's very hard to ask somebody to throw away all of their social life just because they have school. You need to balance it. You need to know that you need to have enough school, you need to have enough time set aside for school so you can get school work done, as well as having enough social life that you can balance out your stress for your school, because I understand and I know fucking hands down how stressful school is. Balance your school however you feel necessary. School is not worth the mental stress. School is not worth the depression, the anxiety. You need to take care of yourself before you're dealing with schoolwork. Something I'm very, very guilty of is leaving studying to the very last minute, which is terrible because I fucking flunked a bunch of tests or like got really, really bad marks because you cannot retain all of this information in one day. As same with essays. I've left essays to the last minute, last day, fucking cramming to find articles, to find newspapers, to find pre-fucking read articles, peer-reviewed articles, and it's just insane to leave it all to the last minute. You need to have a study schedule. Once you find out that you have an essay due in a month, let's say, cut certain days that you start 2 weeks in advance, at least one day looking for articles, and then the next day do the introduction, and then a different day do the first 2 body paragraphs. Cut it up into certain things so that it makes more sense to you, and then it's not all one day trying to bang it out. And on top of that, when you're writing an essay, if you finish it on, say, Monday night, sleep on it. Go wake up Tuesday morning, reread it, proofread it, and fucking then submit it. So number 6 is super, super important, and I feel like a lot of people who do this feel degraded or feel like they're lesser than the other people, which is taking a year off. If you need to take a fucking year off, take a fucking year off. If you need to take a year off to work, to save that money, do it for yourself. Don't listen to everybody else. Who cares if your friends are going off to college right now? If you know mentally, if you know financially, if you know anything else that you cannot move to and go to school right now, then don't do it. Asked my Instagram followers for some of their tips for post-secondary students, and I got about a couple answers. Alright, so these are some of the questions, these are some of the tips that I was given from some of my Instagram followers. So follow me on Instagram for any time that I do polls or questions so that you can be included in some of my videos. Don't move everything into a dorm because it's not that big and you won't need everything. So I personally didn't live on res, but I do know the size of these res buildings, and I do know people who have moved in way too much shit. Like, you have to remember that this dorm room is like way smaller than the room you probably have at home. It's probably the size of your fucking kitchen. So you have to realize that you can't bring every belonging and that you need to leave things behind. Pick and choose certain important things that you know you'll need every day. If you have too much stuff in your room, you'll be super cluttered and super stressed, especially with all of the books and stuff that you'll be getting for school. Definitely know that a lot of the stuff that you can bring from home, you can get for school, from the school. So yeah. One of my really good friends from work also said don't date a frat boy. I don't have any personal experience with this, so I mean, like, yeah, you do you, boo, I guess. So those were some of the tips and tricks that I had for post-secondary. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to DM me, feel free to tweet at me, or feel free to leave a comment down in the description below with some questions, and I'll definitely answer some of them. So I hope this helped at least one person, and they understand a bit more of what post-secondary is. But I can tell you right now, it's an amazing experience. Don't be fucking scared. If you're scared, I can promise you, don't be scared. It's not as scary as you think it's gonna be. It's totally different from high school. It's a completely different experience. It's a completely different atmosphere. It's overall a really good place to be, and yeah. So I hope that helped somebody, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
And then I crawl back to the life that I said I wouldn't live in, 'cause I carried on like the wayward son.
Pushed enough that your mental health comes before. Diesel, that's not for you. That's not your camera. What's she doing?